walking against the wind, and you have to stand tall and tell that I'm not scared. What I say, Zazba, I have no option. I cannot fail. Push me. If you believe in yourself and if you don't quit, you'll make it. It's okay not to be okay. Pursue your dreams. You can create a career out of any of your hobby. If you're a painter, you can make it into a career. If you love cooking, you can become a big chef. Knowledge is something which opens a lot of closed doors. I feel I can sleep at night with a smile and get up in the morning with a smile. I think I'm successful in life. Deadlines amuse me.
I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Miss Priti Srivastava. She is Senior Vice President Reliance Industries Limited and founder of DayaRani. She has a brand HOMSOL which supports sustainability projects. She is one of the few corporate leaders who have successfully managed to combine professional life with their individual social responsibility. Her work on gender equity, women empowerment, and mental health is well known. She believes that key of good mental health is the ability to be emotionally resilient in the face of stressful changes. Her core competencies are in policy and regulation, public affairs, regulatory operations, communications, business strategy, planning, mentorship, and a strategy for corporate social responsibility. She is a motivational speaker and practice counseling. It's a pleasure to welcome Miss Priti Srivastava to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Gaurav. Very happy to be here.
So tell us about your childhood and any particular memory which you would like to share on our show.
I had a very simple childhood like any middle class family would have. My father was in the government. My mother was a housewife. And by the time we had no dreams. We didn't know what dreams are. It was a very small joint family. And I have memories of staying in a 2-room house, sharing everything, the meal, the talk. We had no entertainment devices, no television, social media, of course, was not there. So the communication, just going for a walk to the park with the parents, and very simple pleasures of life are my memories, which I think this generation and my generation now has forgotten. And I just remember one thing from which I've learned a lot is कि थोड़े में गुजारा कैसे करना है. At the end of every month, I could see my mother struggling with the budget. We didn't have the luxury of buying more than 2 dresses in a year. So, a lot of these experiences of my childhood have formed the foundation of what I'm today. And I've learned a lot from them. And some mostly good memories, some sad memories due to financial crunch and family disputes, but otherwise quite a happy childhood.
So tell us about your educational background, schooling and higher education.
I'm from Army Public School, Dhola, and I did my arts there with English as a major subject there. Then I went to Lady Sri Ram College for my honors in English literature. Those time I'm talking what was 84. Higher studies were only for very privileged people. The budgets were very high. So the best option I got was I was a first batch for public relation, advertising and marketing at YWCA. I've done a lot of short courses on distance learning in psychology, which is something which I hold very close to my heart.
So what was your dream as a child?
Oh, if you ask me, no dream. As I said, dream karna kya hota hai? Our dream was going for a holiday or buying a dress. Usse beyond dimag hi nahi chalta tha. So absolutely had no dream. And I was lucky to be in a good school. So the only dream I had was I was in the school basketball team. I've been a good sports person in school throughout. I've always represented school and, we used to play all sports, traditional sports like Kho-Kho, and then I've done javelin throw, running, and we used to have these like we have to do also houses. So those are the little aspiration was that, if I could pursue my sports after school, but then my mother went to the principal and said no, she will not concentrate on her studies, so no sports for her. So probably that was a little dream I had, that if I could pursue sports further.
So any college memory that you would like to share?
Oh, yes. One college memory I remember, LSR got the first chow mein van when we didn't know what noodles are. And we didn't have, no one girl had enough money to buy a plate. So four of us used to pool in money, or sometimes five, and we used to go and eat that chow mein together in a plate. And the pleasure which we got out of that, थोड़ा सा ही आता था सबके हिस्से में, but that really taught me that what is teamwork and how it is to bond. That bonding came from eating that one plate of chow mein, and that used to be a luxury which the kids have, the big chill. So that was my big chill moment.
So what about your hobbies and interests?
As a child and early youth, I used to love writing poetry, and I've written a lot of poetry, and I used to love listening to music, ghazals. And when I grew up, I realized that healing rocks really attract me, and I started studying about them as a hobby, using them and doing a lot of research. These are the two very prominent hobbies I had, and I want to get back to writing and back to my poems when I have time now.
Best of luck for that. So who was your inspiration as a child?
My mother. Throughout, my mother was the strongest person I've ever met in my life, and she was like my role model. The way she used to run the house, keep the family together, the love and the empathy and the value she had, and she was very strong. She had very strong opinion about everything, which I learned from her. How to respect, and how you have to always keep your family as your priority. And she was an all-rounder. She used to do work, whether it's going to the market or paying an electricity bill, or she was an excellent cook. So I was always in awe of my mom. So she was my role model as a child.
So were you an introvert or extrovert child?
I was introvert, quite introvert. Extrovert only in the mind that, I used to think, aise karna chahiye, let's do this, but never had the courage to go out and speak. So I would categorize myself as an introvert child.
So where did you started your career journey from?
I was very lucky when I just finished my diploma. From the campus interviews, I was picked up by Business India Group for Publication, which was the leading business magazine at that time. And I had this great opportunity to be a part of the core team who were launching two new publications. One was the India magazine, which was on art and culture on India. And second, which is still going strong, was Inside Outside, which is a magazine on design and architecture. And I had a fabulous mentor and boss, Malvika Singh, who became, and again, a role model for me of how a women professional should be. And through her, I had insight on why women should take up very strong career.
So post joining your first job, what were the major challenges that you faced and how did you overcome them?
Business India was a very small start, maybe 14 months. Then I got married, and my first job was with Tata's, and the challenge was non-acceptance of me as women professional in telecom sales. So that was the biggest hindrance I had. I was not seen as somebody who could qualify for the role they had advertised. The challenge was that whether it was my superiors, my colleagues, or people I used to meet outside, they never wanted to team up with me. So I had to be like a standalone person, eating lunch alone, making your own reports, very secluded. And with me, the problem has been that even those time in sales also, there were not many women. So I could feel that discrimination and that emptiness in my early days of my career.
So as a public affairs person, what's that one thing you love about your profession?
What I love about it is that I could draw a bigger line because there are not very much women in this sector. So I could walk the talk. I could set the rules how a public affairs professional should behave, what she should wear, how she should talk. What is the value system you should put forth while dealing with the government, and also somewhere take it up as a challenge to tell the industry that when it comes to career, there is no gender. So why are we always harping that public affairs is dominated by men? So I love this profession, and I also love it because it's very challenging. It throws challenges every day because it's changing. You're dealing with so many industries, with so many ministries, with so many subjects all the time. So there's never a dull moment, and that keeps me going.
So what was the most challenging phase of your life?
I think to take that first step to fight the mindset, which I've been talking about. So I'll just quote an incident, and that would set the tone. During my days in telecom sales, one of the senior management person locked me in an office room, and everybody was watching, and he had my resignation typed, and he forced me to sign it. And obviously I refused, and the whole drama went for about 4-5 hours. I was completely shaken. I was in a lot of fear, very not confident, but had a facade on my face because something inside told me that today if I give up, I will not only be giving up my career, my strength, but I would not be able to fight for any other women who plans to work in a scenario like this. So I didn't sign, but from a mental torture and from first time I understood what fear is, and also fear of suddenly being caught up and losing your job because money was important. I had to work and support my family along with my husband. So it was mixed feelings, but that was the most challenging few months. This was one incident, but it was the same set of people. So the first few years were really challenging, it was like walking against the wind, and you have to stand tall and tell that, I'm not scared of you. And still there was a lot of mental pressure while you're doing this. You have to ensure that you perform, because if you don't perform, and sales means targets and figures and ROI, so if you don't give, then it gives an advantage to your superior to kick you out. So it was like 24 hours 7 stress. It stayed with me for about 4-5 years in my earlier life.
So how did you prove yourself that okay, women's or I can also do?
To be very frank, it happened a lot with a lot of insecurity which I had. So I think that insecurity and that what I say Zazba of, I have no option, I cannot fail, pushed me. I will not say I was very brave and I managed. No, I was very fearful. I was very insecure. I was not at all confident. I was very shaky. But only thing I had in my mind, I cannot fail. I don't have an option. I need this job. And somewhere that sportsman spirit, what I had is, Maidan chhod ke bhagna. I think that kept me going. And once I crossed, it was like, a marathon. You do 5 kilometers and then you get confident. So till that 5 kilometers, things were a little hazy. But the moment I crossed that 5 kilometers, then I know I can run a long race and now nobody can fight me and defeat me.
So how would you define success?
See, success for me is very personal. I never judge myself. There is no parameter, and I don't judge myself what the industry standards are or what my competition or what other people are thinking about me. For me, success is what was my parameter, where I wanted to reach. If I have reached there, that is my success in my professional life. And as a person, if I'm at peace and if I can sleep and there's no mental conflict, I think I have achieved and I'm very, very successful. So success for me is very personal. Something only a person can measure. Only I should be measuring for myself, and I don't give right to anybody to tell me whether I'm successful or not. I have my own parameters to judge.
So according to you, what is the role of luck, hard work and smart work in achieving success?
It's a combination of all three. 70% hard work, smart work is 20, and luck is only 10%. But luck will only support you if you put in your hard work.
So if you were able to get hold of time machine, which phase of your life would you like to roll back?
When my daughter was born, I used to work for a multinational which just gave me 2 months of maternity leave. I had to leave her as a 2-month child with my parents and husband and go to office, and it was a traveling job. I had international travel, national travel, and I was very uncomfortable and very guilty leaving her. So if I can go back in time, I would spend all the time with her and enjoy that every moment. Millions of moments I must have missed as a mother of seeing her growing, and lot of moments I don't even know. I've just seen them in videos and pictures, but always want to spend that part with her.
So how has been your journey from executive communication to senior vice president Reliance Industries Limited?
Oh, roller coaster. I would say it from a underconfident, introvert, not sure, homely girl who started working. Bikul dari hui, doesn't know, no dreams, doesn't know where to go to what I'm today. Very confident and not scared, and taking up any challenging, and also trying to help as a mentor anybody who comes and can walk the talk. And so it's been, I mean, there are people who know me in the early, and when they meet me now, they say you're a completely different person. And I say it's the circumstances, and life has really taught me the hard way. But one thing I always tell them is that if you believe in yourself and if you don't quit, you'll make it. So there's something what my daughter told me, that when you're slipping and if there's a rope, even if you reach the end of the rope, mom, tie a knot, but don't quit. This I've learned from my daughter.
So how was the experience when you first met Dhirubhai Ambani?
We were in a meeting in Bombay. We had just joined. So I was sitting in the last bench. I could barely see him. I could only hear his voice. I was in completely awe listening to him, because the way he talked like a common man, he thought like a common man, but what he said made a lot of business sense. And sometimes things he said, which is something a person like me at that time couldn't even understand and dream. And he was talking of India 30 years ahead, and so simply like a common man. And his vision was, what is good for India is good for the company. And I remember that.
So how has your PR, advertising and marketing communication diploma helped you in your career life?
I think advertising has not helped, because I've never pursued that, but my PR skills, because what I learned is dealing with people, how to communicate, how to put forth your point. And as a public affairs person, when you're talking to the government, it's your duty that you explain your company's objective, and you have deliberations on a particular government policy or explaining your business case. So it's how you communicate and how comfortable you make the other person feel. And so when I did my PR diploma, everybody thought, and I joined a publication, I never thought that I'll get into telecom sales and then I will settle down for 30 years as a public affairs person. But the PR person in me really helped me in people management and in communications.
So public affair as a professional is dominated by men. How difficult and easy was to adjust in the man world?
It wasn't easy. And I think what happens is, I'm remembering, I think C.S. Lewis has said that, it is not important how big the load is, it is how you carry it. So for me, the moment I entered, it was no-brainer that, okay, God, I've come to an industry where nobody's going to help me. It's dominated by men. And I have to make my own space and without any help. So the only way for me is how I carry myself, how I carry this weight of being alone in a room full of men. And I still remember my first meeting at Department of Telecom, walking into the conference room where, well clad with tie and suit, 20 men sitting, and they looked at me as if, I'm an alien. And people asked, are you sure, Priti, you're in the right conference room? This is a meeting for government relations. And I said, yes, I'm from corporate affairs of such and such company. And they, so even a lady entering for, meeting in the government was seen at my times with strange eyes. But then I said, it's how you carry the load. And time teaches you. It's so many years of step by step, dheere dheere, learning, had falls, made a lot of mistakes, and and then gradually you pick up the pieces, you understand and you move ahead. Nothing just happens like magic.
In addition to the question, what is the main reason you think that women do not join public affairs?
I think the biggest reason is that public affairs is a very underrated, hidden kind of a profile in a company. So it is not advertised. Even if you talk today to a lot of organizations, they say, no, public affairs, corporate affairs, तो हमारा अलग department है, license department, अभी भी कहते हैं license department है, And what they do is they club public affairs with some other function. In certain cases, it is corporate communication. In some cases, even admin and HR people go, because nobody is understanding what public affairs is. So it's a license ka kaam hai. This is one reason. Second is because it is not talked about, it is not taught. I think now recently there are 1 or 2 schools who are teaching public affairs. This just happened over the last 4 or 5 years. Otherwise, it is not categorized as a career even till today. So nobody knows. So if you don't know, how will you opt? So I've been very lucky. Reliance had a corporate affairs department full-fledged, and so they have their categorization very clear. So I think I was just lucky.
So how would you define the role of a mentor?
See, mentor is somebody who takes all his or her experiences, good and bad, and gives to whoever he or she is mentoring, and it's hand-holding. And a true mentor is somebody who also talks about his or her failures to the mentee, and not just tell, okay, I achieved this and these have been the positive. Because as a mentor, your role is very, very crucial. You are like a teacher. You have to tell the person what are your weaknesses, what are your positive, and you have to make him or her ready for the real world which you have seen. So it is very important is to talk very frankly about all good and the bad experiences you had. Translate all your knowledge which you have in the mind. It's very easy to give your notes and written documents, but what a mentee needs is which can't be seen, which is in your mind. And then a hand holding for very long till you feel your mentee is capable of being on his own.
So no one wants to talk about mental health, and it's a taboo right now also. So what advice would you like to give to people who are suffering from mental illness?
My advice is very simple. It's okay not to be okay. It's as simple as your physical health. We have a headache, we go and take a medicine. We have any ailment, we go to the doctor. He gives a prescription and we come. But if we have any mental health issue, could be as simple as anxiety or depression. We hide it from people. We don't talk. We hide from ourselves. We hide it from our family, and we don't talk about it. Why? Because we have been taught mental health means something very negative, which is not true. It is as simple as having a headache. It is a headache of the mind. So why don't talk about it? Why don't go to the expert? And in most of the cases, my experiences, it's how you treat yourself mentally, what you think, apne aap hi theek kar sakte. For me, it's just a state of mind, your mental health.
So during the type of crisis, COVID situation, many of us have lost their source of income. Many have lost their loved ones. Mental health is of top most concern. What would be your suggestion to come out from the existing situation and how to keep your mind calm?
This is very close to my heart because my mom, who I said was my inspiration, I lost her in April due to COVID. And it is very difficult because COVID, I've seen, if somebody is ill for very long, you can understand somewhere at the back of your mind. With COVID, what happened, irrespective of stature, health, age, we just lost people every day, and nobody knows. So it really affected because, see, you're already in lockdown, you're under restriction. Most of us were ourselves down with COVID, and then there's a death in the family. It affects. So what I've been telling people, and I've been counseling a lot of such cases, is the first thing is we have to accept reality, that it does not happen with us, and we should not get into a self-pity mode. We should see around because everybody was suffering. And sometimes when you look at other people, talk to other people, you realize that hamara dard to kuch bhi nahi hai, what other people have suffered, and you're not alone. And then a lot of empathy because a loss has been done. So what I tried, what helped me was that I was very close to my mother. I lost her. But then I reached out to a lot of other people online, on phone and otherwise, who were going through a lot of problems, who needed help. And I diverted my time and my attention in helping them. trying to understand what are their problems. So one is diversion really helps in the time when you're grieving. So you have to reach out to other people, you have to divert, and the most important, as I said, is you have to accept a reality. And जो हमारे हाथ में है ही नहीं, उसके लिए ज्यादा दुखी होने से कुछ होगा नहीं. So the best way is, and always say with anything related to mental health, you're your best doctor. Nobody can treat you the way you can treat yourself, and it's how you communicate with yourself, which is the whole subject. And I can just go on and on this.
So what does word anxiety, depression, and negative mood means to you?
All these I think is inherent, and most of them are self-created. Anxiety is self-created, depression is self-created, and having negative thoughts most of the time are self-created. It's how we have made ourselves. When do we get anxious? When do we get depressed? When we go through some kind of circumstances in a relationship, at office, or with family. We start talking to ourselves that मेरे साथ ये क्यों हुआ? It is only happening with me. We get into a victim mode. So I feel that it is very easy to get out of all three if we understand ourselves. The problem is that we talk big of understanding people, reaching out to other people. I think the most important love affair you need in life is with yourself. And if you love yourself, if you know what you want, I think you'll never be. So, see, it's very easy to say. I don't say 100%. I also get anxious moments, but then I'm able to recover myself very fast because I've learned to understand myself and to understand the reason why it's happening. Nobody can tell you. You go to a counselor, he will also ask you 10 questions, and the answer is given by you. He will conclude because he is the expertise, but he will only conclude from what you tell a counselor. So if he can do it, you are your best judge. You know what's going in your mind, what happened. So you can treat yourself better than anybody else. And that's what my belief is. And it's tried and tested.
So what has pandemic taught to you?
Many things. I think top of my list is be prepared for anything which hits you, suddenly. The storm can just come and disrupt anything like pandemic. So we should be prepared. I think none of us were. We never thought such a thing. And globally, not only to as an individual, it can just happen and the whole life is upside down. Second very important thing I learned is, which including myself in the kind of profession we are and in the jet age we all are, how important family is and how important it is to spend time with family. I think the lockdown and the pandemic has told a lot of us that, it is everybody went back to family, spent time with them. And I talk to so many people and they share this view that yes, we have re-understood the importance of spending time with family, with parents, with children, with spouses. And the third thing what I learned was that we should be ready to adapt to change. And we as human beings are very intelligent. The way all of us have adapted to, technology, online work from home, online shopping, and the list is long, and that should be a trait even after pandemic, that, let's adapt and become comfortable what life throws at us. Adapt to change very quickly.
So where did you get the idea of founding HOMSOL and what all products and services do you offer in this?
Okay, HOMSOL, as I told you, was my hobby of reading about healing stones, and I used to get very fascinated, collecting stones. And as I researched, I realized that all stones, healing stones, have positive energy. Like we keep a bamboo tree on our table, good feel, positive energy, good luck. It's the same theory. And then each stone has a particular property. The color of the stone, there's a whole theory about what this color donates. And if you combine, it has a lot of properties. And I thought that, why not utilize this? Because I support Navratan Foundation as an NGO, who in turn, on my request, started supporting a lot of artisans who were very good in handcrafting, but they were out of job because, everything is machine made now. So I used to pick up, small pieces of healing stones like rose quartz, lapis, tiger eye, amethyst, and give them. And I used to design. So we started making ganeshas, we started making spheres, we started making keychains, small things, which not only became the revenue stream for the NGO. I also told people that rather than buying expensive plastic gifts, why don't you start gifting this, and this is nature. So HOMSOL is all about good feet, helping people and helping the artisans who are out of job. And all proceeds of HOMSOL are donated online directly to the NGO. And then NGO gives you a receipt. So, I'm pushing people to learn how to donate while buying a gift. So that's the whole idea about HOMSOL.
So what's the thought process behind starting DayaRani?
DayaRani is the first names of my parents. My father was Dayashankar Kapoor, my mother was Rani Kapoor, so I've combined. So the first names of my parents. And mental health was what I saw during COVID, and I was already working. So DayaRani is an initiative for mental health awareness. I want to spread awareness through life coaches, emotional wellness, and the entire community who works on mental health. Is that one is you're treating mental health, that's fine. But what awareness we need to tell is that, we should start talking about it. Talking about even a simple thing like, I'm feeling low. There's nothing like low. It can be cured by just talking to people. So the taboo of mental health बहुत बड़ी चीज है. We have to go to a doctor, we have to go to a psychologist, or to go to a clinical psychologist, or go to a life coach is the later treatment part of it. But 60% cases are such which can be treated at home just by talking and just by following few simple things in life. So DayaRani is all about spreading mental health awareness. It's okay not to be okay.
So any incidents or story you would like to share from your DayaRani experience?
What happened was last year, DayaRani along with Navratan Foundation decided to reach out to all the elderly couples who were staying alone and not with their children, and everything was online because it was lockdown. So I happened to call up a couple 70 plus, and after hearing my voice, I just explained that how can I help you, and this is our initiative. And then I asked her, why you're crying? She says, in last 1 week or more than that, you're the first person I'm talking to, and I don't need anything better. I just want that you call me up every day and talk to me for 5 minutes and allow me to talk. The only conversation me and my husband have, chai chahiye, khana khaya, ab so jate hain. Do you understand? This is kind of mental health awareness I'm trying to talk. People have nobody to even talk to. So you can imagine what agony will they go through. And that really touched my heart. And I get a lot of interns, and I've created a team. I said, you have to call up one elderly couple. I will give you the contacts. When pandemic lockdown was over, you will have to go every weekend, sit with them, play games, talk to them in their houses. And it is really heartbreaking, the level of loneliness the elderly people have, and that's something I need to address through DayaRani.
How do you balance your professional and personal life?
By setting my priorities right and time management. I have learned through the hard way, and I'm stressing on it, through a hard way of giving priority to your family and round the clock thinking about your profession. And during the profession, it's how you plan your day. So I've learned the good way of time management. I use a way, and I treat them like two different compartments and try that they don't overlap and they don't clash. Nobody can do it 100%, not even me, but even if I'm 65-70%, I think we are good. So I keep both. When I come to office, I try not to think about the family and maximum be on WhatsApp, not disturb. And when I go home, I try my level best that I don't think, but things have changed during pandemic. So work-life balance has taken a different definition altogether, and I think we all are adjusting to it.
So how do you like work from home concept?
I'm loving it. Probably I was somebody who was always on the field, meeting people. I used to hardly sit in office and traveling. And I miss that warmth of sitting in your drawing room, even doing your meeting and having a cup of tea and just being there relaxed. So for me it has worked out well, and since I represent Geo, it's gives me a lot of pleasure to see how much bandwidth has helped people to do all their work online. Working from home does have a lot of negative impact on mental health, on which I'm addressing them with a lot of people. But more or less, I think for people like me who in my age bracket has given a lot of solace and happiness.
So you also volunteer Navratan Foundation. So tell us about their sustainability work this foundation does.
So Navratan Foundation is a voluntary organization. It's registered with Niti Aayog. And when I say volunteer organization, they have a fabulous system. They encourage people to come and volunteer their time to work for the NGO. I think that's very important. They have no employees, zero employees. So they have a full-fledged, they have trustees, they have advisors, they have executive committee. Everything is as per rules, but everybody is volunteers. Nobody gets paid. And they have a few very, very good initiatives. The biggest is Astitva, which is on women empowerment. They have opened 32 vocational centers where they are teaching free tailoring and stitching to the underprivileged women. And once they have finished this course, they get a certificate, and then the NGO helps them to get work, so making them financially independent. They are running a slum school, Navratan Gyanpeeth, which has more than 150 students. And their overall development, their nutrition, and these were the kids of daily job workers, used to go in the morning and come back, and these kids were very vulnerable to get into wrong companies. So now they have a uniform, they come to the slum school, and it's really enchanting. Then they're into adult education, and they encourage mostly the women, even senior citizens, to come and learn. And then one of the project I really like is, it's based out of Noida, and they have brought the community together through music. So when during non-pandemic days, they used to have programs every month where anybody from the community could come and listen to music and dances, and all non-professionals. So they have produced a lot of artists by giving them stage, experience and performances. And in the pandemic also they do online. So I think music is a very strong medium of binding and getting people together, which they're doing. Then of course DayaRani initiative is under them. These are the permanent ones, and then they do several work. They work on environment, on planting trees. They have an annual campaign of distributing those school uniforms, woolen sweaters to thousands of government schools. And then they have this plastic hatao, gai bachao, and in partnership they've opened a computer center for computer education skill, and the list is long. So it's a real pleasure volunteering for them, because they're really working at the grassroots level of the society.
So what all are do's and don'ts you would suggest while starting your career journey?
When I normally I'm talking to final year students, and when I talk to them, I preconceived notions. Oh, I'll get out, it'll be very easy, I'll get a job in a big corporate or in a multinational. I tell them it has to be a blank slate. Don't have any expectations. Take one step at a time, and don't dream, and be very flexible in what you get as a work profile, because what is happening is they apply for a particular job, and due to various reasons in the industry, it's a combination of other profiles. So it's a lot of shattering of dreams on the first day. So you have to just go with the neutral mind, just carry your confidence with you, and just go and work hard. So this is my first advice to everybody. And second is, choosing a career is also very important. In fact, I always tell students that even when you're in 12th or you just pass out, pursue your dreams. You can create a career out of any of your hobby. If you're a painter, you can make it into a career. If you love cooking, you can, become a big chef. Everything. Just don't go by the traditional courses and career options. Just explore, and most important is follow your heart and do what you want to do. And because in pandemic, you've seen a lot of people have lost jobs. So, and I know of a lot of youngsters who started their own online ventures, and they're doing very well. And when you talk to them, you realize they always wanted to be an entrepreneur, but family pressures, nahi job karna hai. So always tell youngsters, just follow hard, and if you are hardworking, if you know what you want, you can create a career out of anything. No problems.
So what advice would you like to give to young people on how to deal with government officials?
When you deal with the government, don't go with an attitude. I've seen a lot of youngsters whom I have groomed to be prospective government relations professionals. Is don't think that, we are from a corporate, we are from the industry, we know everything, and somebody sitting across the table in the government, we are teaching them. No, it's the other way around. I have learned everything from government because they are the knowledge bank. They know it. So go like a student. And if you go like a student and if you learn, and it's great. And then you have to be a people's person. You should make the other person very comfortable. And then it's at the end of the day, it's always teamwork. You have to work together on a project with the government to achieve the results. You can't have that attitude of, so there's differentiation of, private industry and government, and, India will prosper where we have joint ventures, where it's public-private partnership, and that's what is going to be the future of India. So keeping that in mind, we should shape our personality and talks and conversation.
So post-corona, students graduating has not even seen the real corporate world, and they are getting hired on their appointment letter itself. What advice would you like to give to these students, and how should they overcome this situation?
See, to be very frank, the choices are very, very bleak of them getting their job back again. But I will repeat what I said earlier is that, reevaluate your choices, reevaluate what you want to do. You can have an alternate choice, start something online, be a freelancer till you get a job, but don't sit idle. I always tell, don't think a job hi karna hai. You could keep trying, keep learning. Knowledge is something which opens a lot of closed doors. So till the market stabilizes and the job scenario becomes okay, do something freelance. And if there's nothing, just volunteer like me to a sustainable cause. Be useful rather than sitting at home and cribbing ke mere paas job nahi hai. There's a lot of things they can do.
So advice you would like to give to people who are suffering from stress and anxiety?
I think they need to talk to themselves and understand why they're anxious. And so I'll tell you what I tell if somebody talks to me, I'm very anxious. I said, you just write down how you're feeling and why are you feeling. And read that 10 times, you'll have the answer and your anxiety will go down. But some people, it's part of their personality. It's inherent. So with such people, we evaluate and we work. And some people get anxieties due to excitement. See, anxiety is not a negative emotion all the time. Anxiety could be watching a football or a cricket match. You're so happy and excited that you become anxious. So it depends what kind of anxiety you have. You could have an happy anxiety which will die out when the work is done. And negative anxiety is something you need to work on yourself. And the best option is to divert your mind. It all bit works.
So now we will start our rapid round.
Okay, interesting.
Your favorite actor and actress?
Always been Mr. Bachchan and Will Smith. The Pursuit of Happiness, my favorite movie.
Your favorite color?
I like black, red, and a mix of green and blues.
Your favorite food?
Kadhi chawal and homemade puriya.
Recent English movie that you have seen?
Oh, I'm still seeing. It's on Prime. It's called The Good Wife. It's about a young lawyer, and I'm really enjoying seeing it.
Success in one line?
Success is very personal. If I feel I can sleep at night with a smile and get up in the morning with a smile, I think I'm successful in life. Very simple, Mitra. It's very, very personal, success.
Your favorite cloth brand?
I don't have like a favorite cloth. I don't go by brands, but I wear a lot of Fab India clothes.
Which book you are reading currently?
Unfortunately, I have not been reading. I've been just online all the time. But what I picked up is when my daughter was young, she had this whole series of chicken soup, teenagers, books. So I pick up every day and read few, and I'm really enjoying. And I want to go back and pick up Mills and Bones, which I used to read in school.
Things in your wish list for 2022.
First, the pandemic should go. Everybody should be very healthy. And I'm looking forward to meeting my daughter who's in Canada, and I've not met her for last 2 years.
Your favorite poem?
By Robert Frost, The Road Not Traveled.
Your second choice of career?
Too late in life to even think about a second choice. But now if I'm given a choice, I think I'll be a life coach.
So at last, one line that defines you.
Deadlines amuse me. You'll find it everywhere on my table. It's like become my logo. Deadlines amuse me.
Thank you very much for the lovely conversation and the advice that you have shared. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. I really enjoyed. Thank you so much, and be safe.
Thank you very much. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.